come a time when man would be such lovers of themselves. This is again the word coming true, that there would be a time in the last days that men would be lovers of themselves more than lovers of the truth. That they would be high-minded and boasters, that they would have an image of godliness, but they would deny the power thereof. This is us right now. And I love you so much, whoever's listening to this right now. I love you with an agape love, with a burden for lost souls, for people who don't know. Because I'm telling you, I've experienced the love of God, and He doesn't want anyone to go to hell. It's going to be by our own choices. It'll be by your own denial that He says, depart from me, ye workers of iniquity, because I never knew you. He says, depart from me. You wanted this life more than me, and you didn't ever let me in. I knocked on your door a few times. I knocked on your heart. I sent you a person. I sent you a friend, and you wouldn't let me in. Don't you know how that grieved my heart all this time? And don't you know how it's breaking my heart right now that I have to cast you away? That I have to cast you away where you can't be with me anymore and you don't have any more chances. He doesn't want you there. He doesn't want you there. He didn't create you for that. He created that for the devil. He created that for Satan and his demons. Did you know that Satan was a narcissist? Did you know that narcissism is the original sin? It's the sin of pride and lifting oneself up. And when we deny God of acknowledgement and faith and trust in His Son, Jesus, He sent His Son, Jesus, to show us the way. He sent His Son, Jesus, to show us His love. He says, if you don't know how much I love you, I'm gonna pay it all right now. No more sacrifices, no more rituals, no more religion, because y'all have messed it all up. This isn't what I said. This isn't what I asked for. I asked for relationship. I asked for intimacy. I asked for friendship, and you wouldn't let me in. Why? All I wanted to do was love you, but you didn't want to listen. This is what we call the rebellious generation, a wicked and rebellious generation. Lord, forgive us. He's looking for, forgive me. Forgive me, Jesus. You truly are the Son of God. You truly are the Son of God. And He says to the man hanging on the cross next to Him, He says, great is your faith. You will be with me in paradise today. That man on the cross would have that same gift, that same opportunity to enter into heaven, just as those who had been faithfully serving Him all those years and so dedicated, they would receive the same gift of heaven by the skin of your teeth. By the miracle that you would have been crucified on that day next to Jesus on that cross. The miracle that you would have been there. But there was also another man. There was a murderer and a thief on the cross next to Jesus that day. And that other man said, he mocked him. He mocked him and said, show us your power. Show us your power and send your angels to come take you off of here now and save you. He called him wicked. The ones that want a sign and won't believe with the faith of a child. He calls those wicked. And I'm thinking about childlike love right now when I'm with my nephew. And I'm like, you say the kingdom of heaven is like children. And then I'm looking at my little nephew. And they just are in the moment. They're so trusting that everything's going to be okay. They look to you as their authority, as their parent, as their guardian, and they just, it's innate in them that everything's going to be okay unless you mess them up, unless you've given them a reason not to trust you, which is the fall of man. Our wrong decisions, our lack of reading the word and seeing what it says. And yeah, it says, spare the rod, but spoil the child. But then it also says, fathers, mothers, don't provoke your children to wrath, because that angers God. You don't do that kind of stuff on purpose. It says God, He corrects us because He loves us, because He already knows the outcome of everything. He knows the outcome of everything, and He wants to make sure that you don't fall over the ditch. He says it's over here. Don't be like the guys who won't stop and ask for directions. Stop and ask for directions. He's like, I'm right here. What's wrong with letting go of the control? What's wrong with letting go of the ego and saying, I need you, God. I need you, Father. I want to know you and encounter you in a deeper way because I believe you. I read the words for myself and they're coming alive on the page and I can feel your love awakening inside of me because what kind of man who had all this power, who could walk around healing people and get 12 people to go to their deaths, they would live so dedicated to what they saw and what they lived. They didn't stop even till their death. None of them did. 12 times, 11 times actually, because one of them hung himself because he was so guilty for turning him in. He was so guilty for turning him in for money. 12 pieces of silver. I think it was 12 pieces. But anyways, can you imagine Jesus being on the cross and he's in excruciating pain? That's why they call it crucifix, excruciating pain. This was a form of torture that the Babylonians invented and then the Romans perfected for sick, twisted torture, for control. And his own people cried out for it because they said, you created blasphemy because you call yourself the Son of God. But really, he was just fulfilling their promise and they didn't see that it was him, that he was there, that he came, but yet they denied him. And let's not do that now because the day is coming soon. Please believe me when I say I feel this fire in my body, deep down in my soul, and it wakes me in my sleep sometimes. And he says, he's coming soon. He's coming soon. And his spirit is already here. The hovering of his spirit is already here, just like he said he would. He said, and then as the day draws near, that his spirit would be poured out on all the earth, that his sons and his daughters would prophesy and they would speak and they would see visions and dreams. That day is here. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's been a rise of many prophets on YouTube and social media and TV. I mean, it's like God's just calling everyone to speak. Whatever you're going to do, you got to do it now. Let's do it now. Let's do it now. We're supposed to be thinking like this. But now it's like, hey, everything's kind of getting real. All of this is here. We can see everything's lining up just the way he said it would. And our eyes are wide open. We're sitting on the edge of our seats and we're like, wow, what's going to happen next? I can't believe you're doing this right in front of my eyes. Wow. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. But I'm telling you right now, you got to hear the whole story. You dig in that word. If you don't have a Bible, man, I'll give you one. Oh, man. I'm telling you. Jesus, fully God, fully man, gave his life in excruciating torture, pain, shame, and mockery, saying he is the Son of God and he knew what he had to do when he came here. And he didn't falter from his mission. He came, and even though he could have, and he asked the Father, he said, if it would be your will, would you please make this cup pass? If it's your will, make this cup pass. And they said that he sweated blood that night in the Garden of Gethsemane. And now that we know that when you sweat blood, that means that you're so stressed out, your capillaries are broken and the blood is mixing with the sweat and it's coming out of your pores. I can't even imagine being that kind of stressed. But he knew what was coming and he still went. Because he knew that this was going to be the payment for everyone to be able to enter in just in that moment, just in that yes, just for that acknowledgement. Yes, I believe that Jesus is the Son of God. I can see his power throughout the world. I can feel his spirit right now in this message. I've seen it in the lives of those of the faithful. And he goes all the way to this cross and the Romans are mocking him and they give him this wine that's mixed with myrrh and that it would hopefully dilute the pain. That's what it was for. It was going to numb some of the pain right before they nailed him. And he denied even that cup because he wanted to experience the full blunt of it. The full blunt of it for us.